Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, my name is Michelle and we are getting into House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 5 today. So last episode we left off with Aemond walking away and kind of leaving Criston Cole to look at what he did to Aegon and Sunfire. And I mean, I don't necessarily blame Aemond for not, I don't know if he thought he would survive the fall and the flames. I don't know if he was necessarily trying to kill him per se, or if he really was just, I believe if he died, he died. If he survives, I guess, but I get the feeling Aemond did it for all of the bullying Aegon has done to him since he was a child. If you go back, I think it's like whenever the actors like made the switch, like when we left off from like young Rhaenyra and young Alicent to when we got the adult versions, I think that episode really established Aegon as sort of like his, it looked on the surface like it was Lucerys and Jacerys who were bullying him, but I definitely get the feeling Aegon was definitely part of it. Like as the shows progressed, you definitely get the feeling that Aegon was like one of his main bullies, if not the main one, antagonizing him. That moment in the brothel was cruel. Granted, I think it was pretty cruel for Aemond to like just offer her up to the soul, like his Kingsguard there, but it's not, him attacking Aegon is not without reason. Like you can look into their past and see there is an emotional betrayal there. Like that's your brother, you don't bully him like that. Like, and I don't think it was ever really nipped in the bud by either Alicent or Viserys. I don't think either one of them sat down with Aegon and told him it's not okay to treat your brother this way. And definitely think Aemond, that's the thing, I'm not sure he was looking whether or not he wanted to kill him or if he was just looking to get him out the way. Like I don't know what extent Aemond was going after him, but I do wonder how Criston Cole relays this information back. Like when they bring him back, what do you tell him? Because it was clearly not Rhaenys who attacked him. I guess you can say like, oh, Rhaenys and Aegon were going at each other and he got hurt by Vhagar's flames when Aemond joined the battle. But I don't know how you spin this. I don't know how they go back and tell him, like, what do you say to the council? Like, would the council even care? Because it doesn't even seem like anyone respects Aegon in like when it comes down to it. I really think Team Green needs Otto back. And now that Aegon is out, like I don't know whether or not they will try to like puppeteer him and say, oh, Aegon's fine and we'll rule in his stead, like the council just takes over and starts ruling on behalf of Aegon, or whether or not they will be honest and say Aegon's like out of commission. I don't even know if they'll address it to the people. So that's one thing. They may not even try to let the people know that Aegon was hurt in this battle. But with that being said, I am very curious as to, will they push to get Otto back into the picture? I think Team Green really needs Otto. I understand he's made a lot of like blunders. Well, not a lot of blunders, but like he's been, I think if Otto had his way and there weren't people interfering constantly, I feel like low-key Rhaenyra and Team Black would be under. Like they'd be like done for if everything went according to Otto's plans. Team Black would have been like snuffed out a long time ago, because it was clear he won, like even from season 1. Like I think Rhaenyra, Lucerys, all of them would have been screwed in that. I think it was Lord of the Tides episode. If Viserys doesn't hear Rhaenyra's pleas, if he's not like so high off the milk of the poppy in that moment when she's like crying to him about like, I need you to protect me, Dad, like protect me, protect the kids, like I need you to help me here. And if he doesn't hear her, he's not getting up and making that grand walk. Like I think, and not to mention, he was going to have the Kingsguard kill Rhaenyra, which we did see in episode 2 or 3. Like, that probably would have worked if Masari doesn't go back to like tell Eric, hey, your brother's here. She would have been killed. I feel like the Kingsguard plan really had teeth that Otto came up with. It's Alicent who stands in the way of it. So I feel like as much as Otto has gotten himself fired, I feel like twice that man has gotten the boot, his plans probably would have succeeded if, you know, it just wasn't for happenstance. Like, if the plot demanded, oh no, Rhaenyra can't die right now, so Alicent has to step in the way. Lucerys can't lose his inheritance at this point in the story because, well, Viserys makes this grand walk. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for like plot factors, like certain things have to happen, I definitely get the feel Otto Hightower would have like shut this shit down a long time ago, and Team Black would be like 6 feet under at this point if Otto was like running the show with no one getting in his way and interfering. Now, speaking of Team Black, they took a heavy loss with Rhaenys, and Rhaenys will be missed. She always carried a level of like regality to her and confidence and assuredness. She walked with so much grace to her. I think her character was probably Rhaenyra's best, like much like her most staunch supporter at that council. I do think her voice to sort of back Rhaenyra up will be missed. I really think what Rhaenys said to Corlys, like, she needs to get a hold of that council. She needs to rise. She needs to push herself. I understand that Rhaenyra never wanted this. I understand that this was not something, how can I put it? Like, the crown wasn't, I think when she was younger, she wanted it. I think younger version of her definitely wanted it, and I think as she got older, it was I think first half of season 1 she definitely wanted it, and I think after season, like the season switched to the adult actors, I think there was such a heavy shift in Rhaenyra's character in regards to her relationship to the throne. I think because she had so many detractors, like so many forces working against her, I feel like she just didn't want it anymore. Because I definitely get the feel like young Rhaenyra wanted it, older Rhaenyra doesn't, mostly because people don't want her to have the throne, and it's like she has to fight such an uphill battle to claim it. So it's like, I don't even want the damn thing anymore, because I think when she was younger, she was probably more willing to fight for it, because that's like this, like that's like the rebellion of youth and all of that. But I definitely feel like there's been, I mean, yeah, she's older now, so of course she grows up, but there's been like such a heavy shift between the younger version of Rhaenyra and the older version. Like, they're very different. I think younger Alicent and older Alicent, I actually feel like there's probably a bit more symmetry there and a bit more of a bridge, because I feel like the last 2 episodes we got of young Alicent was really set up to the switch we'd get when she was older. I feel like the young Rhaenyra to older Rhaenyra, their change in like disposition and their characters was a bit more jarring than when we got from younger Alicent to older Alicent. Like, if you get what I'm saying, like, I feel like that transition was smoother. Older Rhaenyra just doesn't seem sure of herself in any capacity, and it is a war that she's dealing with, so you can't really be certain that all of the choices you're making is the right one. But I do think she shows her uncertainty to her council too much. I feel like she should have a confidant behind closed doors where she can like bounce these ideas off of, but at the council I feel like she's a little too wayward or directionless, and it's just it's one, she's already a woman, so they don't have that much faith in her. And on top of that, I feel like her character, in terms of her personality, the things she's done thus far, the things she said, her plans, lack thereof, I feel like it increases their doubt in her. I really hope what Rhaenys says comes to fruition and Rhaenyra really does rise to the challenge, and gets a hold of her own council, because her own council doesn't back her as much as I would want them to. So I hope we see a shift in her a bit more, coming off of Rhaenys death and her conversation with Alicent, and knowing that her father in his last moments did speak of the prophecy. I will say this prophecy, Jace does learn about it in the last episode. I am very curious, because it's so interesting having Rhaenyra's character be motivated by this prophecy, when I don't know if Fire and Blood and House of the Dragon is meant to be like a continuation of to like Game of Thrones, and that ending, like the long night and the threat from the north and all of that, and uniting the kingdoms together. I hope it's not that, like this isn't a connection to that, because if it is, I kind of feel bad for Rhaenyra. Like, she's pushing so hard to claim this throne for this prophecy, when knowing how it ends in show canon, like I don't know if this show is supposed to like be direct, like a direct line into the Game of Thrones we got, particularly the Long Night episode, because she's fighting so hard for something that I don't think House Targaryen really was really needed. I mean, yes, the dragons and all of that, like, yeah, it was important, sure, but it felt like the prophecy didn't really amount to much, in my opinion, in regards to the Long Night and all of that, at least in the show. If this show is supposed to be a reflection of the books and their ending, if George R. R. Martin ever finishes the books, fine, I guess this prophecy really has a place. But in regards to like the show, it doesn't feel like it adds up. Like not that it adds up, it feels heartbreaking, like tragic, that Rhaenyra is fighting so hard off the sake of this, like Aegon's dream and the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy, when it doesn't feel like it amounts to much in a Game of Thrones, like especially season 8. Like it sucks that that's what's motivating her, because it's Arya that defeats the Night King. Jon is like kind of useless in that battle. Like the kingdoms weren't united. The people who fought that war were the Northerners, the Dothraki, and the Unsullied. The rest of the realm didn't really play a part in that. It was just the North and foreign soldiers and her dragons, and it just doesn't feel like what Rhaenyra's fighting for pays off in the end. Like, if you get what I'm saying, like I feel bad. Like, oh, Rhaenyra, fuck this prophecy. Y'all don't need to like ride with it. I do feel like Rhaenyra's character would probably be happy just not taking the throne. I feel like her happiness would probably just be her children and living the rest of her life out. I don't think ruling, leading, war, I don't think that's what she's adept at, and I don't think it's what she cares for. But she feels like she has this burden, this task, this prophecy that she has to follow through on, because this is what her father has said she's supposed to carry. And it is painful to watch her like do that. If this canon is like this, the show is linked to Game of Thrones show and not the books, I'm like, oh, Rhaenyra, let it go. Anyways, Daemon, I've been talking for 15 minutes and we haven't even gotten to Daemon in Harrenhal. That man is off his shit in Harrenhal. He's sleeping on a bed made from a heart tree. That's already a problem. He needs to get the hell up off that damn thing. He's probably better off like sleeping, like when he gets ready to go to bed, just get on the back of Caraxes and sleep in the woods. Like, I don't know, like sleep somewhere else, just not in Harrenhal. That man is being haunted. Granted, I do think he's being haunted by his own actions, his guilt. I feel like Daemon is conflicted between what he wants and what he needs. Like, I feel like he does want the throne on some level. I think maybe it's not the throne, it's what the symbol of the throne, what it means to him. I feel like that's what he wants, and it's in confliction with what he needs. And I get the feeling these hallucinations that he's having, I feel like, yes, it plays into the lore of Harrenhal and Alice Rivers and witchcraft and all of that. It builds into the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire universe. But on a character level for Daemon, I feel like it's helping to sort of get him into a place where he is able to see Rhaenyra as his ruler, as his queen and as his ruler, because Rhaenyra did ask him that, do you see me as do you accept me as your queen and as your ruler? So hopefully this is where these hallucinations end at. Let's get into the episode. So grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever it is you like to do when you watch your favorite reactions. Just get comfortable and let's get to. Oh, is this drift mark for me? Oh no. Ugh. Corlys is going through it. He loved her so much. I mean, yeah, he had a couple bastards running around, but he loved her so much.
Behold! The traitor dragon Meleys!
No!
Slain at Brook's Rest by your king!
Was it Aegon, though? Was it Aegon that did it? Oh, this feels so wrong, just dragging Meleys to the street like this.
Mark my words, this is a black omen.
Yeah. I mean, the people don't look pleased at all by this. I would imagine they revere the dragons. Oh, it's all steaming. That's a really cool effect.
Traitor dragon Meleys!
I thought the dragons was gods.
Slain at Brook's Rest.
Ooh. I thought the dragons were gods. That has a lot of implications. I love that line.
It's just meat.
It's just meat. Damn. Flies all over. That has heavy implications. I thought they were gods. Just meat. That might change the way the people see the dragons. And thus House Targaryen. I guess this is really where it all just began. That slide.
Is he alive?
His grace remains with us
Yeah.
for the moment.
I mean, we can just finish him off here. Come on, Alicent. Just chuck him in the neck. It won't be that hard to kill him off now. Child, Black Mouse, I get the aloe vera and start rubbing him down. Even coming in to survey his work. Bitch, is that lettuce or aloe? Ain't no way they're about to cover this man in some romaine. Ain't no way.
Someone will have to rule in his stead.
Ooh. Well, Aemond's getting what he wants.
Our largest dragon has been killed. Kristen Cole marches about the Crown Lands unchallenged. We still have no ground army but the one we hope that Daemon will raise.
Daemon needs to stop hallucinating and...
After some marital spat.
Shut
Do you
up.
take issue with me, Sir Alfred?
My loyalty to you is proven, my queen.
But your willingness to give me deference in a time of war?
It is merely that the gentler sex, heretofore, has not been much privy to the strategies of battle or their execution.
There has been peace in our lifetime. You've seen no more battles than I have.
Very true. Okay, this council needs to start becoming productive and fast. Because Rhaenys dead.
If Cole pursues his campaign, our allies must be
We
ready.
must answer Rook's Rest. If Aegon is dead, we will soon know it. 'Twould be a victory.
They're just talking over her. God damn.
We can strike King's Landing before their dragon is recovered.
Then
Maybe we
I
gotta
myself must do it.
My queen, you are the crown. It is out of the question.
What would you have me do?
Maybe you just gotta kill one of them to shut him up. I don't fucking know. She might have to like take a whip one of them. I don't fucking know, because they don't respect her at all.
I can sit still no longer. I must act. The phrase.
Fuck
They
them.
control the crossing.
Ooh, fuck phrase.
I will treat with the phrase to secure it.
She will not like it.
Then don't tell her. Not until I'm away.
I would want him to talk with Rhaenyra and let her know. Because that's no different than her just leaving without telling them, oh my god, Daemon, what are you doing?
Our terms are simple, Lord Bracken. Renounce the false King Aegon as a usurper. Bend the knee to me.
Well, it's nice to see Caraxes
Or your
again.
house burns.
Cinders than bend my knee before some heathen Blackwood cunt.
Brackens were a people hatched out of the deepest of the seven hells, your grace. It would be a kindness to oblige them and send them back whence they came.
Did your brother's head keep on its way back to you, Willem?
You know, maybe we gotta start killing some people because nobody respects teamwork.
We choose fire.
Damn. He's gonna burn him. Holy shit, that's an image. Burn him, burn him, burn him. Holy fuck. Oh.
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
He's like, I didn't expect them to say fire. Holy shit. He's like what a nigga calls your bluff.
They are pig-headed, intransigent.
They would rather burn than succumb.
Kinda admire it.
Exactly the kind of men I need.
We have fought them for an agent more.
Then perhaps you could try less fighting and more
Diplomacy? Compromise?
persuading.
Close enough.
There are things the crown itself must not be seen to do. Show them your worst.
I am your servant, your grace.
What are we doing? What did we just unleash? God, what if he really is about to kill some people?
The thought of her lying in a field, broken amongst her enemies.
Oh, that's right. Gishabela was raised on Driftmark with Rhaenys.
Did your grandmother ever tell you of the night she claimed Melees?
She snuck into the dragon pit.
She knew that place better than any elder.
My father was furious. His own mother's dragon. The fastest beast ever known, and she'd have none of him. But bent her neck to Rhaenys.
She should have been queen. I hate that for Rhaenys. If anyone should have sat that throne, it should have been her.
Would you give this to your grandsire?
What's in it?
I do not wish to stand alone.
Oh God. What the fuck now? Jesus. What
Daemon.
the? I'm sick of this shit.
The finest swordsman.
Is he getting it on now? Are you kidding me? Is this a hallucination?
The fearless dragon rider. His heart.
I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired of these hallucinations. Daemon need to get his shit together.
But he lacked your constitution.
Oh, Jesus. What's with the blood? Oh, no.
If only you'd been born first.
Oh.
My favorite son.
Nigga, what? Bitch, is that his
Is
mom?
the duck not to your liking, your grace?
What?
I like the goose myself.
Get this man out of Harrenhal right now. Get him out. Get him out of Harrenhal. Why is he fucking his mama? Is it her that's making him fuck his mama? What the fuck? Drag him back to Rhaenyra, because the version of him with Rhaenyra was somewhat better.
A king cannot rule in his sleep. The realm will have noticed his absence, but now we must name a regent to take his place until he recovers.
Did you have a candidate in mind, Your Grace?
Rhaenyra.
I myself served in this role for my husband. I am well prepared to do it again.
Oh.
You played your part admirably in a time of peace. The king does not lack for heirs. The obvious choice is his immediate successor. Prince Aemond.
Agreed.
His face.
Queen Alicent ably shouldered the duties of the realm when her husband's health failed him.
Experience is valuable, yes, but the Dowager Queen is a woman.
I am no stranger to rule or to sitting at this council.
What would it say if in response to Rhaenyra's crowning we raised up a woman of our own? But,
Shit ain't sweet.
But the hand speaks with the king's voice.
Hey, why'd the quality just drop? I ain't fucking playing. Hey, don't you fucking do this. Fix the quality.
Aemond is the next in line.
There we go.
It must be him. It's agreed, then.
See, Alicent, that's why you should have sat there and ate your fucking food. And I'm not talking about when Viserys died. I'm talking about when Otto got fired. Should have sat there and ate your fucking food. No, let's raise the kids to, you know, think Rhaenyra is gonna kill them all. Baby eater. She'll kill you to claim the throne. You didn't have to do it.
An army of any size. Well, no. He would do well to
This is sad. It's sad and it's funny.
It's only a matter of time before he inherits his grandsires mantle.
I mean, she told Rhaenys that women are not meant to rule, but gently guide the men around them. Oh, the dog is still... This poor little dog is following the... Oh my god, what if they shut the door on him? Oh no, they let him through. No, can never call that dog disloyal.
Seeing faithfully to the Prince Regent's commands.
Aemond is the next in line. It is the order of things.
You know what he is. What he has somehow become. Has your loyalty faded, or does it flourish only at night and flee the sunrise like a moth?
What I saw at Rook's Rest.
What? What did you see?
Their armor melted. There were men walking, they were on fire.
We have given the war to the dragons. The dragon rider should lead us.
And what of justice? Of temperance, or is strength now to be our only god?
Have I not spared you? What we must do now is terrible. Is this who you are, Alicent?
I did not ask to be spared. And I did not give you leave to speak my name.
I want to say I care, but I don't. Oh no, I believe Aemond said to shut the door, right? They won't be able to leave. This is awful. This is gonna backfire.
To return to your homes! You want me?
The people are gonna riot. They're gonna do them what they did Joffrey. They go slink cow shit at ya.
Jason Lannister is marshalling to the west.
We need to check him before he reaches River Run. That requires passage.
Our fear lies in Vhagar.
You fear a dragon, leagues away, when mine own sits outside your walls.
Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Do you offer us your protection?
I do. And the protection of my uncle.
There we go.
That does lend us some comfort. Though it occurs to me that dragons cannot be in two places at once.
Or three.
What do you want?
There we go. Very Tyrion of you. Ask what a person wants. That's what Tyrion always used to do.
You want Harrenhal.
Look at you, Jace. Okay then. I see you, Jace.
For that, my mother will want more than your crossing.
Your allegiance?
Bent knees.
There we go. That was very Tyrion-like. Ask the person, what do you want? Figure out what they want and make it so that you are the person who can provide it for them. I'm with it.
My castle is a tomb. Empty. Haunted.
Son, daughter, wife, brother.
Queen Rhaenyra wishes to name you Hand.
Even the death of my wife does not content her. I should not ask enough of my house.
Rhaenys, well, he's drunk. I was about to say, Rhaenys, you were there when Rhaenys offered.
And will compensate me for my loss.
Rhaenys was not only your wife, not a thing to be taken from you.
Okay,
she was a
Bella.
Targaryen princess. She flew to Rook's Rest of her own will, in defense of her kin.
And she died.
She died as she would have wished to die, with honor, in Dragonfire, the way my mother chose.
Okay, Bella. I want more of you, Bella. This is such a strong scene for her.
I will see Rhaenyra ascend the Iron Throne, as Rhaenys wished. As Rhaenys herself should have.
Speak truth. Rhaenys should have sat that throne, not Jacerys.
I would make you my heir.
I am blood and fire. Driftmark must pass to salt and sea.
Okay then. I like a girl who knows what she wants. Let's go. Bella and Jacerys are really on it in this episode. I'm loving them.
I will not deny you have tried my patience of late. You and your house served my father well, and I know you will never accept the Hightower claim.
Not while I live, Your Grace.
We cannot challenge King's Landing without the Riverlands, but I will not send a message by Raven for Daemon to disregard. Find out his state of mind and his intentions.
Intentions?
Whether he means to raise a host for me or for himself.
He would not dare.
Have you known Daemon to lack in daring? Go now with haste. I'll send good men to see to your safety.
Okay, yeah. That's one way to put some distance between her and him and make him feel like he's doing something of use. Because I feel like that's partially probably why her council feels so... they have nothing to do and there's so much going on and they probably feel useless. I feel like they're all struggling with feeling impotent in the war or trying to put Rhaenyra on the throne. I swear to God, if he starts fucking his mom again, I'm gonna turn this shit off.
There have been complications. The sacred septs on Bracken lands were looted and burned.
As were the fields and farms.
These beasts proudly carried the banner of House Targaryen. Red dragon on black.
Uh-oh. Didn't he say not to do that?
A war is being fought in these lands.
What the fuck's that? Oh.
Have you looked after our girls?
He's probably saying, I have daughters.
Nothing more from a man who ordered the slaughter of a child in his mother's arms.
Oh.
We shall not raise our banners for a tyrant.
Daemon, every time you try to help, you make shit worse. And how do they know it was him? Did they like send word that it was Daemon that did it? Because I could have sworn they previously said it was Rhaenyra, or maybe they're just like, whatever Daemon does, Rhaenyra does is at fault for. Whatever Rhaenyra does, Daemon's at fault for as well. They're like equally yoked in that regard. Their crimes are not separable. Daemon need to stop making things worse. He's just a fucking mess.
We have no dearth of dragons. We have two large enough to stand against Vhagar. They are called Vermithor and Silverwing.
If they had riders, none could stand against me.
There is Rhaenyra.
Who nearly lost her life in her last attempt. I would not risk it again.
There are those of our line who never ruled, those who married into other noble houses.
A generation ago, or more. Blood would be thin.
And yet?
Dragon will only accept a dragon lord to ride it. Are you suggesting we put a Malister on a dragon? A Tarly?
It's better than death and defeat.
There are records here, surely, of our line, and of those who fell out of it.
Okay. Let's track them. Okay, look at us getting somewhere. Let's track down all of the little princes and princesses who married into different houses, all the other nobles, and let's gather them up. Saltagar would be one, right? Okay, then we getting somewhere. I'm here for it. This was a great episode. Okay, so this was a really good episode for Team Black. I feel like they're finally coming together in a way. Like the vision is starting to like clear up. You're wiping the glass, and it will. Let me not include Daemon in that, because I don't know. Daemon's on time. I don't know what that man's doing over in Harrenhal. He can stay over there for now. But the rest of Team Black, they're starting to really come together. You know, I feel like the problem with Team Black all along is just frustration and not really knowing what to do. And the inaction was like synonymous with feeling impotent, like you're not doing anything of worth or value. And I feel like Rhaenyra and her council were in the same boat. I feel like a lot of the reason the council was so frustrated is because it's like they're just sitting there talking and talking and talking, and nothing's really happening. You can like plan for this what if, and then plan for that what if, and then plan for that what if, but everyone's just kind of sitting there, you know, playing with their thumbs and not really knowing what to do. And then Rhaenyra was also in the same boat. So I feel like all of them were just frustrated by the inaction and not knowing what to do, because as Rhaenyra said, no one at that table has actually been to war, so everybody can shut up. But I am liking where Rhaenyra is going now. I think she has a tangible plan in front of her, an idea, and I like that it was a really beautiful moment between mother and son. They've been in conflict these past couple of episodes. I feel like Jacerys has also been frustrated in like this little ball of my brother's dead, the throne's been usurped, Daemon's acting like a butthead. You know, you're taught with so much needs to, like, you know, when so much is happening around you and you know you should be doing something, but you just don't know what to do, and not only do you not know what to do, you're being held back from doing anything at all. I feel like everyone in Team Black is struggling with that at some level. But I do like that Rhaenyra and Jacerys had that moment of kind of coming together as mother and son, monarch and heir. It's a really good moment for them that was definitely needed as a way to bridge that gap and that divide that has been forming between them these past couple of episodes. But you know, I will say it's interesting because I feel like Rhaenyra and Alicent had a very, I don't want to say, I think you can parallel those moments between Rhaenyra and Alicent at their respective councils, where Rhaenyra tells Mysaria like they don't talk to her, they talk around her. You know, I feel like it'd be too easy to blame misogyny for why Rhaenyra's council doesn't listen to her. I feel like the writers, to just like put it under an umbrella and leave it at that, I feel like it's too easy. I feel like there's valid criticisms towards the way Rhaenyra has ran her council, has presented herself to her council and to her subjects. As for Alicent and her council, you know, I think that is like the perfect display of misogyny at work, because if anyone at that table has proven that they have experience leading, experiencing ruling, running that council with a clear head and a clear goal, it would be her. I feel like to dismiss her so easily when she has done her best. I mean, we may not like Alicent's goals or where she was headed. We may not have been on Alicent's side in terms of what she was going for, but she did rule in Viserys' stead. She did sit at the head of that council, and she has experience, and her word, her wisdom, her experience should not be dismissed so easily. But within like less than 2 minutes of conversation, they shut the door on her ever kind of sitting in a position of power. She was a tool. she was a pawn and they used her, and now that she's no longer of service, they're throwing her away. She found herself in a position of power because her father used her, very callously served her up, or put her in this system where she could become queen, give birth to future kings, and then he can use, well, no, I don't think Otto getting fired by Viserys was not part of the plan. But when he did get fired, he then tasked Alicent to raise Aegon to rule, because Rhaenyra will kill Aegon to secure her throne, is what Otto put to Alicent all those years ago for her. So that's what she's kind of been operating in her head, even though I think Rhaenyra never displayed any kind of murderous intent towards Aegon. But if you were planning on murdering someone, would you kind of make it be that obvious? Like, if you were going to plan on getting, and I will say, I guess this is my only gripe as a book reader versus the show. Kinslaying is a very, very, it's not spoken about with the correct weight in the show, in my opinion, because kinslaying is not something you just overlook. It's a very dastardly crime that is an offense to not just a person's honor, but to the gods. And it is, I don't think the implications of Rhaenyra being set up in Alicent's eyes, especially given her being so devout and religious, to discard her best friend, or her once upon a time best friend, as someone capable of kinslaying. I feel like when you really look back, it is a big leap in logic for me that Alicent would buy that, given that Rhaenyra and her were so close, and she didn't know Rhaenyra very well. Yes, she lied about having sex with Kristen Cole, but I feel like Alicent could and should have understood why Rhaenyra lied about that. Anyways, that's a bit of a tangent, but I will say Alicent should have been the person least capable of being dismissed at that council, whereas I think Rhaenyra hasn't necessarily earned or had the opportunity to earn the respect of her people at that council, other than the fact that she is a princess and that those titles mean something, and there is a level of deference that is a princess and the ruling monarch and the named heir that is her due. But beyond that, I don't think she's really earned their respect, and I don't think they've earned her respect either. I think her sending Sir Alfred away was very good, or that can backfire too, because, like, okay, let's just say Daemon is really working to secure his own claim. Sir Alfred just seems to be no to the High Towers. So what if he flip-flops? What if he joins Daemon's side? So I can see a con in that plan backfiring, but then at the very least you would know where Sir Alfred stands. Like, I'd rather you turn on me now so I know exactly where you stand, and I'll know exactly where Daemon stands, versus keeping someone who was capable of turning on me at her council. So it's a win-win. But I do like her bringing Sir Alfred close and tasking him with something incredibly important, finding out where Daemon stands. As he called it a marital spat earlier, but that marital spat has grave implications, and she's tasking probably her most disgruntled member of her council with something very important, and I think that's a very smart move. Two birds, one stone. You can figure out what the fuck is going on with Daemon's bitch ass. Sorry, he's annoying me right now. That entire storyline is annoying me. But you can figure out where Daemon stands, but you can also kind of just pull the cloak, like just pull the mask off of Sir Alfred. If he's going to turn on you, if Daemon's turning, he'll most likely join Daemon. Let's just kill two birds with one stone and figure out where both men lie. And I agree. I think that was a very smart move by Rhaenyra. Either way, you get your answer. And I will say, whatever she has cooking with Massaria, I think Mysaria has proven to be really useful. I do think we still need to keep an eye on Mysaria, because, you know, she did once upon a time leak very important information to Otto. Like, she was the one who sold that information to Otto about her being in that brothel. So I think Mysaria is someone who is of great use, but you should keep an eye on that, because she once upon a time worked for money. So whoever pays her well or best, she might flip to that side. Right now, Alicent and Larys damn near killed her. She thinks it was Otto that tried to have her killed, but Alicent and Larys were the ones who were responsible for that house burning in episode 9 of last season. that was them. But I mean, I doubt she'd side with the people who try to kill her, but regardless, she works for money. So let's just, you know, use her, but keep a watchful eye as someone who can potentially turn depending on how things are going. Like, I don't think she's like a true loyalist to Rhaenyra. I mean, I'd be weary of Mysaria. I'm usually weary of the Master of Whisperers characters. Like, y'all are always on some shit. Y'all are shady people. So I just keep a watchful eye on them. Now, Jacerys, I think Jacerys did a really good job in this episode. He really worked to secure or come up with a backup plan. Like he said, if Daemon is on some fuck shit, let's at least secure a faster path through. I think it's the neck. I think there's really only one way, by land at least, into and out of Winterfell. So I do think it is, or the north, I should say, but securing the crossing at the Twins in the event of Daemon turning, and not only that, getting the Freys to bend the knee to Rhaenyra was very good diplomacy by Jace, and very good thinking to secure a backup plan. We can get the Starks, Greybeards in quicker in the event of Daemon being on some fuck shit timing. And I like that Jacerys simply asked, what do y'all want? You know, it felt very Tyrion, like, identify what a person wants, a potential enemy or a potential ally. What do they want? What do they need? And how can you situate yourself to make that happen for them? And if you can't, if they ever find themselves turning into an enemy, at least you know their wants and needs and what their potential moves are, and you can get ahead of that. So I do think it's great diplomacy that Jacerys employed with the Freys, and he offered up Harrenhal now. Whether or not I mean, you know, the Freys deserve, well, I mean, they deserve it and they don't. Like, that fuck ass, that castle is a mess. Alice is a mess. I guess let me talk about Daemon, because Daemon, he got some mommy issues going on, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, I feel like in that sex scene, his mother didn't say anything he himself didn't say to Rhaenyra in, like, was it episode 2 or something? Like, he didn't say anything that we didn't already know. He already aired out all of his grievances to Rhaenyra when they fought earlier in this season. So it just felt a little redundant and weird seeing him have sex with his mother. Like, all I can think is, like, dude, you had 6 years of marriage to solve your, what is it, like an inferiority complex that you seemingly have with Rhaenyra and Viserys and all of that. Like, you just feel left out and inferior to that bond that Rhaenyra and Viserys had. Like, dude, you had 6 years of your marriage to, like, figure this shit out. Now you want to, like, hammer this shit out, like, now when we're at war. And it sucks because he's going around calling himself king, and it's like you're undermining her at a time where she needs people. and you're just making more mistakes and turning more people against her. It's like, Daemon, what are you doing right now? Like, please. It's like, if you can't support her, at least try not to make things worse. It's just, it's a lot for me with Daemon right now. These hallucinations aren't fun. Like, they're not revealing anything new that we don't already know about Daemon. Like, he already aired his shit out with his fight with Rhaenyra. I didn't need to see him having sex with his mama. It just wasn't needed. It was weird. Is that just me that feels it was weird? It was weird, and I really need Daemon to stop making things worse, because that's all he's doing right now. He's not really accomplishing much he's on his Bob the Builder, screwing with my mommy, turning Blackwood's and Bracken's problem into, and Lena popped up saying, how are you looking after our girls? Does he even know Rhaena is in the Eyrie? That his sons are there too? Does he even know? He probably wouldn't know if he read a letter and wrote back. Maybe Daemon's illiterate. Maybe he can't read or write, and that's why he's ignoring these fucking ass letters. He's annoying me. His storyline is annoying me right now. I need him to get his shit together, and fast. Now, Aemond. Aemond as Regent is, I still like Aemond's character, but him as Regent, I mean, he said, close the gates, and Alicent did respond. Like, you literally saw her look terrified at that prospect. And it just sucks that she could have spoken up and said, it's not her fault. I'm just saying that, well, kind of is and isn't. But I'm just saying, if they hadn't dismissed her, she would have felt it was okay to speak up and tell Aemond the repercussions that can and will most likely occur if you shut them gates on the people, because I definitely see a riot happening a la Joffrey in season 2 of Game of Thrones, when, you know, Joffrey, I think he got cow shit tossed at his ass. I can definitely see something like that happening in King's Landing at the rate they are going. Rhaenyra is starving the people out with the blockade, and now they're shutting the doors. They pulled Maely's head through that line. What was it? Oh my god, it was such a great line. Where someone in the crowd says that dragons are like gods, and then Hugh says they're just meat. I mean, that has some very hefty implications in dismantling the lore and the power that surrounds House Targaryen. These dragons are, like, it's very interesting because Rhaenyra says, you know, if I had been given a sword as a child, but Rhaenyra is the youngest dragon rider ever. You wield the most powerful thing in the world. Dragons. I mean, yes, Vhagar is the biggest and the baddest, but you get what I'm saying, like, dragons being like the most ultimate power out there. The dragon is far more terrifying than the sword. But it's interesting because the sword is that of what man uses, whereas the Targaryens use dragons. And if you're just showing them like covered in flies, like a dragon head, slayed, flies feasting on it, it's meat. The people are begging for meat. They're starving. It's food. It's not this god. It's not this deity. They could smell the rotting flesh as they would a dead dog off the street. It's no different. And the reverence that the people had towards the Targaryen is now diminishing in just that one single act of dragging a dragon head through the city of starving people, smelling it, seeing the flies covering it. This is what dragons are at the end of the day. No different than a piece of fish off the street covered in flies being sold to be eaten. Is that what it is? Like, you're destroying your own source of power in a way. And I do think that will have big implications with the people's relationship with the Targaryens, not just in this show, but through the histories of Targaryens into Game of Thrones. That's like you're destroying your, it's like you gave people the Kool-Aid, but then you told them that, oh, this Kool-Aid, you know, it's just some red dye and sugar. Ain't that special? That's essentially what they're doing. That's what Kristen Cole did. And I don't know if Aemond okayed it. I would imagine he would have okayed it, and that's why Kristen Cole did it. So it seems like Aemond is fundamentally misunderstanding the power that they wield, the power of not just the dragons, but the power of the people. I don't think Aemond understands power and where it lies. Very gives me Varys feels, like when Varys and Tyrion are talking about the truth of power and where it lies and who really holds it and what it is. I think Aemond made big mistakes before he even took the role of regent, and I think those mistakes are going to really play a huge role in the Green's downfall. Either way, this was a great episode. I'm liking where Team Black is going. I'm liking them shaping up. It sucks that Alicent was kind of like dismissed in that manner, but ultimately it tracks. I mean, I think, as I said, she was very much a pawn, and I mean, it's I think she was, in order to be a pawn working against, in order to be a woman being used to undermine another woman, I think there's a level of delusion that you have to engage in, to not see the trappings of the ideology you're working for, that you are not an exception. You are part of that rule, and that same ideology you're championing will shove you out that door too. It just sucks, because I think Alicent is someone who, I'm not going to say we all know what Alicent, but I think if you grow up in certain religious areas of your life, you may come across an Alicent, someone who believes in the place of a woman. And God knows I've met quite a few women in the Catholic Church growing up as a child, who championed the positions that women are supposed to hold in their household, and not step out of, not realizing that's part of your misery. And instead of encouraging other women to find a joy outside of that, you are encouraging them to suffer in the same way you are. And I think it sucks, because Alicent is both stupid, and I say that in quotes because I don't think she's stupid. Just having a real honest conversation about the character of Alicent. She's very real. I think women like her very much are real, and they work against themselves, and they hurt other women because they believe that others are supposed to suffer the same way they do. It's sad. I feel like the character, believe it or not, I feel like Alicent might be the most tragic character in this entire series thus far, in my opinion. I think she is. I think she's someone who has shown great bouts of intelligence in season 1 and in season 2, but ultimately was just trapped in a very regressive way of thinking that has done nothing but hurt her, but she can't free herself from this way of thinking. I know I joke around with Alicent, but I do think women like her exist, and it sucks. I mean, you can have sympathy for them, but at some point you gotta cut them off, because you won't move forward with women like that a part of your call. You gotta cut the cord and say you're on your own. I wish I could save you too and bring you over here, but you're on your own. I think Alicent Alicent found herself in a position of power and then used that power to keep another woman out of power. It's like, I'm not gonna say it's like karma that she's now getting shoved out, but it's like a rude awakening that you're not different and they see you the same way. And you were just hurting yourself for Alicent, I feel like Alicent is the story of women who hurt other women but never realize that you're hurting yourself too. By not championing and trying to fight for the freedom and the freedom to choose for all women, you're hurting yourself ultimately as well. Like you're kind of like you're stabbing other women, but you're also hurting yourself in the process. And I feel like that's Alicent's story. And I think she's now going to be forced to reckon with what she's done her entire life. I'm telling you, I would love to see an Alicent that like starts to work against Aemond and Aegon and not, I mean, they're her children. I get that. I understand that part of it, but there's a part of me that wants her to like join Rhaenyra. Like, get over there. She can use another woman. I mean, she has Massaria now, and she has Bela. She can, you know, never too much women. Well, no, there's such thing as too much woman shit. But I would love to see that, even though I know that's not what happens in Fire and Blood. But the show has departed Fire and Blood a long time ago. One could say they departed Fire and Blood before the first episode even aired. They made great departures from what was on in the text, I should say. So why not have Alicent join Rhaenyra? I wouldn't be mad at it. She needs to go find a home in Dragonstone. But I mean, after everything that's happened, would Rhaenyra accept her? Anyways, this was a great episode. I pondered a lot about Alicent's character in the end there, but I think she's one of the more fascinating characters in House of the Dragon. Shit, I was about to say Fire and Blood. I do think she's probably the most tragic character. There are such real world implications to her character, and I think out of all of the show's characters, I think Alicent and Jacerys are probably the most well-written and the most layered characters that the show's really done a good job at. I think Jacerys and Alicent are really good characters, where I think if you get past the Team Black versus Team Green, you can really appreciate the complexities of Alicent's character and the trappings and the tragedy that surrounds her. I like her character. I know she gets a lot of hate, and you can understand why she gets a lot of hate. But at the same time, is when you let go of the whole team, this team that, and you let go of, oh, she worked against Alicent, if you really explore the delusions and the trappings of religion and the trappings of doing what your father tells you to do, and then the trappings of your own feelings, and when those all come together, between doing what you're told by your father, but then your father putting you in conflict of your religious views or the views that you're supposed to obey your king. I think Alicent's character has been pulled in so many directions, and her own feelings, her own emotions were in like this little nugget of space in there trying to get out, but being pushed around by all of these things she was told to do. I think her and Viserys are probably the strongest characters in House of the Dragon. I know Viserys is no longer here, but I think so. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up and say thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all for the next episode. Take care, everyone.